we've learned this, Tn equals T1 plus n minus 1b. And what do we use that for? What do we use it for, Caleb? Yeah, find or any term of a what? What kind of a sequence? What kind? Not recursive. Not explicit. Not geometric. Arithmetic. We'll get to it. This will find any term of an arithmetic sequence. This will find what? The sum of what kind of a sequence? Arithmetic sequence. All right, that's all we've had. Remember, all these formulas will be on the board when you take your test or quiz. You have to know when to use which one. The first one, we can find any term of an arithmetic sequence. The second one is we're finding the sum of an arithmetic series. Remember, a series is one. Today, we're going to add another formula. Tn equals, we know what Tn is. It's any term of a sequence. Tn equals, we know what T1 is. R to the n minus 1. I don't know what R is. So today we're going to talk about a geometric sequence. A geometric sequence. A geometric sequence will look something like this. Okay. Now, how can you tell? Well, it's not arithmetic because from 3 to 12 you're adding 9. But I'm not adding 9 to 12 to get 48. All right, so it is not arithmetic. But if you have to multiply or divide to get to the next number, then it's geometric. If you have to multiply or divide to get to the next number, then that sequence is geometric. And what are we multiplying by? 4. We can kind of see it, but we're multiplying by 4. And it's not called a difference. It is called the common ratio. A common ratio of all those numbers. What am I multiplying by? 4. And that is what the R is. In order to find the common ratio of any particular sequence, you're going to tell me what this means. Go ahead, Kurt.
The common ratio R equals any term, which is Tn, divided by a previous term.
Correct.
Tn.
Perfect. It says you can take any term and divide it by the one right before it, the previous term. And if it's the same for any term that you pick, then that is a geometric sequence. And that's how we find our common ratio. Can our common ratio be a fraction? Yeah. Maybe I'd multiply everything by 1/2 or divide by 2, same thing. Okay. Let's take that number right there. And let's find, we have 4 terms here. Let's find the 10th term, T10. You think it's going to be a big number? How big of a number? Give me a guess. What do you guess?
800.
800 something, you think? In the thousand? Would you say between 5 and 10,000?
Over 9,000.
Over 9? Let's see. If you, all right, well, let's see. We're going to take the first term, which is 3. Make sure we use parentheses. Times the ratio, which we determined was 4, raised to the n minus 1. Well, we're looking to find the 10th term. So 3 times 4 to the 10 minus 1, or 3 times 4 to the 9th power, which is not the same as 12 to the 9th power. So we go to our calculator. We have 3 parentheses 4 raised to the 9th power. And so the 10th term, well, let's go up here. The 10th term of this sequence, 786,432. What can you tell me about that sequence? It's exponential, very good. And what is the multiplier? The R is perfect. The R is the multiplier. So in this particular case, the multiplier is 4. This is what we start with. There's your multiplier. This is exponential. Okay. If you have to multiply or divide to get to the next number, it is an exponential function. Okay? All right. So let's play around with this a little bit. Suppose a third term that we have. There's some tricky parts to this. Let's suppose the third term is 36. And the fifth term is 324. Find, well, let's find this term right here. What do I have to multiply by to get that middle term? Okay, so what I'm going to multiply by this times this is going to be my R, is it not? Whatever the ratio is, multiply 36 times something to give me this middle number. And then I'm going to multiply this middle number by R to get 324. Correct? Correct?
Yes.
All right. So I have 36 times R, which is R squared, equals 324. Divide both sides by 36. Right? And what is my ratio then? What is my ratio then? Plus or minus. We're taking the square root of both sides of an equation. How does negative work? Well, let's see. If the ratio is 3, we have 3 times 36 is 108. 108 times 3 is 324. No problem. But what if the ratio is negative 3? 36 times negative 3 is negative 108. Negative 108 times negative 3 is also positive 324. So how do we know which one it is? We don't. So my answer is this number here is plus or minus, depending on what R is. So the fifth term, here's the third term, here's the fifth term. The fourth term is plus or minus 108. What do you think the sixth term is going to be as far as the sign goes? Plus or minus. What about the seventh term? Plus. The eighth term? Plus or minus. All right, you get the idea. Now, let's find the 10th term of this sequence. We're going to find the 10th term of the sequence. First of all, I need the first term. Does anybody know what that plus or minus 108 is? We have a name for that.
Fourth.
If there's a number in between these two numbers, the geometric mean. It's a geometric mean. Okay? All right, because we're going to do a problem like that where we're just going to say find 3 geometric means between two numbers. We'll do that in a minute. All right, so we want to find the 10th term. Can you tell me if it's going to be, is it going to be just plus or is it going to be plus or minus? Plus or minus, okay. So we've determined that, and I'll show you why. First of all, we need the first term. It's easy enough to find here. If I'm multiplying by 3 to go up, what's the term right below 36? 12. We divide by 3, right? Okay. Let me show you another way. If I want to find the first term, I'm given the third term, which is 36. That's the third term. Equals the first term times the ratio, which is plus or minus 3. This is the third term it was given. Okay. Raised to the n minus 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. So I don't care if it's plus or minus. It's still going to give you a positive 9. 9t1 equals 36. Our t1, that 1 should be down. So our first term then is 4. Okay, so to find the 10th term, it is 4, first term, times the ratio, plus or minus. Let's go plus to the 10 minus 1. You put that in your calculator. Okay? If you go negative 3 to the 9th power, you're going to get the same answer, only it's going to be negative. Okay? So if we put that in your calculator, and we do 4 times 3 raised to the 9th power, 78,732. So the 10th term of this particular sequence then is plus or minus 78,732. Okay, get the idea? All right, our formula. Find 3 geometric means between 1 and 81. Find 3 geometric means between 1 and 81. All right, so isn't that R? That's R. Multiply this by this, that's R. Multiply this by this, that's R. So in order to get from 1 to 81, I'm multiplying by R, and then times R, times R, times R, or 1 times R to the 4th equals 81. The 4th root of 81 is plus or minus 3. Whenever you take an even root, all right, even root, square root, 4th root, 6th root, plus or minus. That means every other term is going to be plus or minus. This is going to be plus or minus 3, plus or minus 9. Oh, sorry. That's just going to be positive 9. And we have plus or minus 27. Okay. What if this is cubed? Do we have to worry about whether it's plus or minus? No. If it's cubed or to the 5th power, If it comes out negative, it's negative. If it comes out positive, it's positive. We don't have to worry about plus or minus. Okay. All right, so your homework for today, page 717 and 718. 9 through 72, every third problem. And 75 to 76.